All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for day number 16 of Donald Trump's hush money trial. Today we have Michael Cohen, aka Liar Liar, Pants on Fire, taking the stand. And yes, of course, we get to hear it all thanks to our guy on the inside, Inner City Press, who is reporting from inside the courtroom and giving us a look at everything that is going on, what the judge is saying, what the prosecution is saying, and of course, what Trump's defense is saying. But today is a big day. Michael Cohen, of course, is Donald Trump's former attorney and so-called fixer who has since turned against Trump. And according to witness testimony in this trial, he was so devastated when Trump did not make him a part of his administration, such as an attorney general or chief of staff. But as a result, he allegedly snapped and now only desires to bring Trump down. But luckily for Cohen, he got really lucky with this. He's not the only one seeking to bring Donald Trump down. There is a powerful group of people who are happy to accept him and use his past with Trump to continue this witch hunt. And of course, it is only happening because Trump is running for president and is skyrocketing in the polls and is more popular than ever. The Democrats are panicking and must resort to corruption to even have a chance of gaining on Trump. But in this hush money trial, the Democrat star witness is this disbarred lawyer that you see right here. When I said he snapped, he actually snapped. He's on TikTok going live every night, ranting and raving about Donald Trump. It's kind of a odd situation. And this is what he's doing every night on TikTok. He snapped. But he is a disbarred lawyer. This is their star witness who has admitted to lying to Congress. He got disbarred for perjury, and he also perjured himself before Congress. However, this doesn't matter to, these people, the lawyers in the courtroom. They don't care, the prosecution, because the Democrats have nothing else except liars, adult film actresses, and degenerates. And, these are the types of people who fit right in with the majority of the Democratic Party today. But before we go back into the courtroom and see this whole charade, this is what Donald Trump had to say prior to walking into court this morning. And if you notice in the background, you have J.D. Vance standing there. So that's very interesting. And Trump, of course, is standing next to his lawyer who is on his left, Todd Blanche. But this is what Donald Trump had to say prior to walking into court this morning.
I have no idea what they've been doing. We have records, and they talk about bookkeeping. The only thing down in the bookkeeping is that we call a legal expense a legal expense. We don't call it a construction expense. We don't say for concrete work. We don't say for electrical work. We pay the lawyer a legal expense. And we have a legal expense is a legal expense. It's marked down in the book, quote, legal expense. It's perfectly marked down. The other side doesn't know how to handle it, but they say, let's indict him anyway, because that's what Biden, this all comes from Biden in the White House, by the way. And they have their top people here. Because when he can't put two sentences together, he's the worst president in the history of our country. Can't speak, can't walk off a helicopter, can't walk off a plane, can't walk off a stage. And the only way they think they can win is if they can do something with Trump. Because we have an incompetent, the worst president in the history of the United States of America.
But yes, guys, he is right. And I'm not going to reiterate all the reasons why this is a politically motivated attack, because I think all of you who are watching this probably already know what is wrong with this case. But without any further ado, let's go back into the courtroom where Donald Trump has arrived. He's wearing a dark blue suit and a light blue tie, looking sharp as usual. His lawyer, Emil Bove, is to his left. Todd Blanche is to his right in the lead counsel seat. Maybe Todd Blanche is going to be the one cross-examining Michael Cohen. But Blanche is whispering to Trump. He's covering his mouth like a, baseball manager talking to a pitcher on the mound. Then Blanche leans over behind Trump to speak with his co-counsel, Emil Bove. Susan Nichols is sitting at the end of the defense table, separated from Trump by Bove. All rise. And the court clerk says, this is the people of the state of New York versus Donald J. Trump. Now we have Judge Bertrand. He enters the courtroom and he says, all right, people, I received the people's proposed jury charges. I haven't reviewed it yet. I reviewed the separation agreement of Allen Weisselberg. I am not going to allow it in. And now we have the jury entering. And Judge Bertrand says, all right, people, call your next witness. And the prosecution calls Michael Cohen to the stand. And we have Susan Hoffinger from the DA's office who will be doing the questioning of Michael Cohen. And the court clerk says, all right, Cohen, do you swear that this will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And Cohen says, yes, ma'am. He says, my name is Michael Dean Cohen, and I'm 57 years old. The prosecutor says, all right, Mr. Cohen, tell the jury a little bit about yourself. Cohen says, I grew up on Long Island. My father taught surgery. He met my mom, and then 4 children later, here I am. Cohen says, my grandmother wanted it, and I wanted to go to Wall Street. I started in personal injury law at 225 B-Way. One of my clients allowed me to buy 50% of Manhattan Maintenance, which deals with taxi medallions. Prosecutor says, and how about real estate? Cohen says, I started buying Trump properties, then the buildings. I went to Phillips Nizer, then Trump Org. And do you see Mr. Trump in the court right now? Cohen says, he's there, right there in the blue suit, and he's wearing a blue tie. But the prosecution says, and how did you meet him? Cohen says, I met him through Don Jr. I handled a situation at Trump World Tower. I was asked to review documents about Trump Entertainment Resorts, and we resolved it. And I presented the $100,000 bill, and Mr. Trump said, do you want to work for me? I was honored. I went over, and the bill to Phillips Nizer was never paid. And what was your salary, Mr. Cohen? Well, we agreed to a $375,000 base salary, and then there was a bonus. He gave me Ivanka's old office on the 26th floor of the Trump Tower. I was EVP and special counsel to Donald Trump. And the prosecution asked, okay, Mr. Cohen, what matters did you handle for Mr. Trump? Cohen says, I handled whatever he wanted. A New Jersey golf course, the funding was pulled by Governor Corzine. And did Mr. Trump ask you to renegotiate bills? Yes, he did. For example, with law firms. And did you do that on Trump University? Yes. It fell into trouble. 50 vendors had not been paid. We had $2 million in the bank, but the bills were higher than that. I got all but 2 vendors to accept 20% of what they were owed. They signed and got checks FedExed in 48 hours. And how about the other 2? How about the other 2 vendors who did not agree to paying less? Cohen says, they just went away. Mr. Trump told me, fantastic, and I was on top of the world. And while at the Trump Organization, did you threaten to sue people, Mr. Cohen? Yes, I did. There was a Miss USA contestant defaming. We brought an arbitration against her. It was resolved with the press. I would reach out with their need to redact or take it down, or we'd sue. And did you do personal work for Mr. Trump? Cohen says, I did. A yellow cab hit his limo one time, and I talked to the driver, and I got him to pay. Also, there was a time when his bathroom overflowed in his apartment that I helped him with. And did you deal with the press? Cohen said, yes. I tried to play stories and minimize the negative ones. And how often did you speak with Mr. Trump, Mr. Cohen? Cohen says multiple times a day. And how did you communicate with Mr. Trump? I would communicate with him in person or by cell phone. That's it. I might call Rana or Keith Schiller, his personal attaché, or Hope Hicks. And did Mr. Trump use email? No, he didn't. He did not have an address. He told me there are too many people who have gone down because of emails that prosecutors can use in a case. And where did you meet him, Mr. Cohen? Cohen says, in his office, he had an open door policy. And were you told to update him on matters? Yes, I was. And if you did not immediately tell him what was going on, it would not go over well for you. And was he a micromanager, Mr. Cohen? Yes, he was. I called him boss. There were great times, and for the most part, I enjoyed it. And did you lie for Mr. Trump? Yes, I did. And I bullied people too. I just wanted to make him happy. And did you get additional titles? Cohen says, I was put on the board of Miss Universe, and I was treasurer at some of the properties. And Mr. Cohen, some would call you his fixer. Cohen says, yes, that is accurate. And did you use cell phones ending in 6886 and 0114? And the latter of these numbers is still in use, correct? Cohen says that's correct. And did our office ask you for 2 cell phones? Yes, says Cohen. I provided them in January of 2023. And did you sync your contacts with Donald Trump's? Cohen says, yes, the IT people did it. I had over 30,000 contacts in my phone. And the prosecution says, Mr. Cohen, Do you know David Pecker? Cohen says, yes, I knew him before I knew Mr. Trump. I actually met him on Long Island. Later, we would speak on Signal. And did you contact Mr. Pecker before 2015? Cohen says, yes, kind of like when Mr. Trump gave money to Harlem for hoops. The prosecutor says, was it trying to get a good story out? Cohen says, yes. And do you know Dylan Howard? Cohen says he worked for Mr. Pecker like I did for Mr. Trump. Prosecution says, all right, Mr. Cohen, in 2011, was Mr. Trump exploring a run for president? Cohen says, yes, he was. I saw a poll that 6% thought Mr. Trump should run for president. So I created a website called shouldtrumprun.com, and there were a lot of people who came to the site. And did he run in 2011? Cohen says, no. There was a season of The Apprentice coming up, and like he told me, you don't leave Hollywood, Hollywood leaves you. But he told me in 2011 he would do it the next time, and he did. And what was your role, Mr. Cohen? I was a surrogate. And did you make an appearance for his campaign? Yes, I did. I went on MSNBC and CNN. I'd provide commentary. Watching the rallies, I would notice it was very white. So I started a group called National Diversity Coalition for Trump with Daryl Scott, an evangelical from Cleveland. And did you meet with Mr. Pecker and Mr. Trump? Yes, I did. I knew about the power of the National Enquirer with its space in grocery stores and bodegas. And Mr. Pecker, he said he could keep an eye out for anything negative, and he would help us try to stop it. And did the National Enquirer preview stories for you? Yes. For example, Hillary Clinton wearing thick glasses and allegations that she had brain injury. And Ted Cruz's father with Lee Harvey Oswald, Marco Rubio in a pool with a bunch of other men, and claims of a drug binge. Trump said it was fantastic. Prosecution. All right, Mr. Cohen, what is this? Shows Mr. Cohen an exhibit. And Cohen says this is an email with AMI in October of 2015. Barry Levine said, we are repackaging sensitive material about Donald. And I wrote back, yes, take out the part of the penthouse, pet Sandra. It was January 6th of 2016, and the article ran a week later. And this is a headline, the Donald Trump nobody knows. Prosecutor says, and what about the doorman story? Cohen says, yeah, that was where there was a love child. I asked Mr. Trump what he wanted me to do with it. It involved 2 employees of the Trump organization. And Cohen continues, and AMI bought the life rights of this story from the doorman. Well, under what terms? $30,000 to not publish the story and take it off the market. And did you tell them Mr. Trump would be grateful? Cohen says, absolutely, and I reviewed the deal. All right, put up People's Exhibit 165 in evidence. An email from Dylan Howard about the addendum. What is this? Cohen says, this is the addendum or amendment. And did you tell Mr. Trump? Cohen says, yeah, to get credit, for him to know I got it put in. And he said, that's great. And in June of 2016, did you become aware of Karen McDougal? Cohen says, yes. From AMI, I told Mr. Trump, did he know who Karen McDougal was? And he said, she's really beautiful. And did you draw any conclusion? Objection! Sustained, says Judge Merchan. So he actually sustained an objection from the defense. Wow, interesting. And we have a note here. Todd Blanche is making the objections to Cohen's direct examination. It seems he and not Beauvais or Nichols will be cross-examining Cohen. So that's interesting. But the prosecutor continues, and she says, did you use Signal for this? Cohen says, yes, I did. I wanted it to stay private. And did you update Mr. Trump? Yes. And what are these texts, Mr. Cohen? Well, Dylan wrote to me, I'm about to meet her. And he was referencing Karen McDougal. Well, what did they then tell you? Cohen says they believe that they had it under control. I'll get this locked down for you. I won't let it out of my grasp. And did you witness talks between Mr. Trump and Mr. Pecker? Yeah, I was in his office. He used a speaker box. David Pecker said, we'll take care of this. And were the costs discussed? Cohen says, yes. Pecker said $150,000, and Mr. Trump said, I'll take care of it. And how about this? Cohen says, Dylan Howard told me they rejected the offer, and I implored my guy to get it done, not to let her take it to ABC. The prosecution continues, but AMI got the deal. What was it? Cohen says $150,000 as well as 24 pinned articles in her name and 2 covers. And did Keith Davidson reach out to you? Yes, I deal with him in 2011 about Stormy Daniels on thedirty.com. She wanted a story taken down, and it was. It was a story on Karen McDougal. David Pecker wanted his $150,000 back. So David Pecker wanted to get paid back. I met him at his favorite Italian restaurant. He insisted he needed to get the money back. And Mr. Trump told me, I'll take care of it. And did you have any other worries, Mr. Cohen? Cohen says Pecker was mulling leaving AMI, and he had a lot of files. And did you tape a conversation you had with Mr. Trump about Karen McDougal? Cohen says, I did. I wanted to show David Pecker that Mr. Trump was going to pay him back. I put my phone on voice memo and walked into Mr. Trump's office. And was he aware that you were recording him, Mr. Cohen? No, he was not. Prosecution says, okay, let's play the audio of September 6, 2016. Who is on this audio? Cohen says, it's Mr. Trump, me, Ronna Graff. We started about a property in Charleston, and also we were talking about divorce matters. And they play the audio where Trump is saying, oh, it's such BS. And Cohen says, great call, big time. And then Ronna is talking. Then continuing with the audio, Cohen says, I need to open a company regarding our friend David. I spoke to Alan on it, and then it cuts off. Now the prosecution asked, why were you wanting to open a company? Cohen says, to have separation, to keep it away from Mr. Trump. And what did all the stuff mean? Cohen says, we were talking about Pecker's drawer. Prosecution says, Mr. Trump said to pay in cash. Cohen says, yes. And Merchan, he interrupts. He says, all right, we're going to take a break. All right, guys. So just when we're about to get to the good part, when Michael Cohen is talking about Trump and this cash, apparently, that he was aware of, they went on break. So we are going to come back with a second video because I want to get this out to you guys as soon as possible because I know that everyone is very interested in what is going on inside this courtroom, especially when it relates to Michael Cohen because he is the Democrats' star witness, ironically, this liar and perjurer. Liar and perjurer, adult film actresses, are the prosecution's star witness. It's hilarious. But what do you guys think about this? Let me know what you think about Michael Cohen's testimony down below in the comments. Like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And watch out for the next video coming very soon in just a few hours. But until then, I will see you on the next one.